Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757.
Good morning, Bryan.
Hey, good morning, Sofia. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, That's
good. That's good. The weather out there is terrible today.
It is. It's been terrible for, the last 2 days?
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining because anything north of Newport News got hit bad with snow.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm all right with that.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my, actually an agent that I work with up in the Maryland area, and she was telling me that, it got hit with a good amount of snow. I think it was towards the end of last weekend and earlier this week. So she was like, the kids were out of school and everything. And
yep.
So, but yeah, I'm actually looking. I'm hoping we do get some snow this year, though, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like we haven't really had a significant amount of snow in a couple of years. So I'm hoping that we get at least a little bit, just a little bit. My kids been asking for it, so I want to see a little bit of snow out there so I can make a snowman with them or something. So,
okay.
Yeah. Sound like you're not on board with that, though.
Absolutely not. No. You're talking about a person that walked to school in the snow when the snow was to your knees.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah. So you built for that life, though. So,
But I don't like it.
Okay.
I've experienced it. Like, you've experienced it only a little bit, so it's exciting for you.
Yeah.
For me, not so much.
Well, I'll say this. When I was growing up, it was kind of weird. I don't know I know climate control. I don't know all the ins and outs of that. But when I was growing up, it was a lot. We used to get snow even here because I obviously grew up mainly here. We used to get snow a lot more then than we get now. You know what I mean? Like, we used to get snow every single year. We would be out for a while because of snow. Like, that happened pretty frequently. I almost every winter, I would say. But now I feel like it doesn't really happen that much as it used to.
Yeah. Nah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
If it were me, I would be living in Florida right now.
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, I like to go to the beach on Christmas. That's ideal for me.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then
cool.
when I want some snow, I get on that thing called an airplane and head up to Michigan, get my little 2-3 days in, and then I'm out.
I heard that. Speaking of beach, last weekend, that's what we did. So the kids were out of school Monday, right? It was Martin Luther King Day. And so we were trying to figure out something to do with our kids, because of the holiday on Monday. So Sunday, after my son's game, which they won 10-2, which was cool. They beat the team pretty handily this time. Last game was really close. It was 12-10, but this time they won 10-2. He actually scored again, which was really dope. It was crazy, though. One of the kids got hit with the basketball, and, his nose started bleeding pretty bad. So it was it was blood everywhere. They had to stop the game and everything. It was kind of crazy. But, yeah. But last weekend, we stayed down.
What they get hit with? An elbow or something?
No, but got hit with the basketball.
Oh, with the basketball.
Yeah, the basketball hit him in his nose. Yeah, he was trying to get a rebound, and it hit him. And, he started leaking, instantly. It was crazy. But yeah, so we went down to the ocean front, stayed down there this past Sunday into Monday, and that was pretty cool. The kids, like I said, they love the beach. Obviously growing up here, they love just hotel rooms, which is kind of bizarre. They like jumping on the beds and all of that, jumping from bed to bed inside the room. So that was pretty cool. We went to Mellow Mushrooms, a pizza spot we always go to down there. We walked around the beach. It was actually pretty nice on Sunday too. The weather was I think right at 60, so it was really, really nice. For this time of the year. And then we had dinner. I had a gift card at Orion's Roof. Shout out to my boy Lou. It actually was valid. I know we talked about it last week. It did work because I've had it for I want to say it's been close to a year, if not a year. So we used it. Dinner was on him, so that was dope. And yeah, we just chilled, man. It was pretty good to get a, what to say, staycation. You're not really going nowhere, but you're not staying at your house. You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. The kids loved it. They had a good time. And enjoyed themselves, man. So that was pretty dope. So
nice.
I can understand, like you said, having the beach in the wintertime, Christmas, the weather, if it was 80, that would be dope. That would be dope. But I do like to see it. I like to experience all 4 seasons, though. I do like the weather to change and, experience the cold, experience the warmth, all that. So
Yeah. When I lived in Florida, we still had days where you could put on, a nice little sweater and some boots or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but it won't
But it'll never get under 60.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That to me, that's not winter. Winter is you got to be 40s, 30s like that. Yeah, if you're under 60 consistently, then that's not really experiencing a full winter. So.
Yep. Yeah. So last weekend, let me see what I do. Me and the family went out to Neat Bird for dinner on Friday night.
Okay.
On Saturday night or Saturday morning, I made breakfast and then I made dinner. And so for breakfast, I made sausage, eggs. I did a fish and grits, and then I did a French toast with like strawberries and bananas and powdered sugar and stuff. And then I made some fresh orange juice because I got this juicer that I've been using like nonstop.
Okay.
And then for dinner, I actually went and got a tomahawk steak and I put it on the grill.
Cool.
It was huge.
Tomahawk steaks are big.
Yeah, it was huge, but it was so good. Like, it tastes so good. And then I put like 2 slabs of ribs on the grill. And so I made dinner for like up until like Monday. So it was good, you know.
That's good.
And it was nice, so it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And let me think. On Sunday, I don't remember what I did on Sunday. And then on Monday, that was the day that I utilized to braid my kids' hair. So I braided hair on Monday.
Okay.
To get them ready for the school week.
How did you?
Because I don't do hair every week.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, how did as far as I know, Neat Bird, I seen on Instagram a couple of this is maybe like a month or two ago. I know an agent that went to Neat Bird, and it was like a big thing. It was actually kind of funny that she was complaining about the Wi-Fi in Neat Bird, and then she was also complaining about the food wasn't that great. And so she actually like put on Instagram, like, you know, was voicing her opinion, you know what I mean, about, you know, the service, and then also about, you know, I guess the Wi-Fi and all that or whatever. She wasn't able to, you know, work and make calls, be on the internet or whatever. And so she was like at Neat Bird on all of these comments, and then so like I guess the person who works the social media for Neat Bird was like going back at her, like it was going back and forth. It was actually pretty funny. You know, it was very unprofessional. I'm surprised that the person, I guess, whoever does the social media for Neat Bird was like, you know, exchanging like that. But how did you like Neat Bird? Did y'all like, I'm assuming fried chicken or something right there?
Yeah, so
it's pretty good.
I mean, it was actually a different experience for me because it's not my first time actually eating at that restaurant.
Yeah.
Typically, I like their whole chicken. Like, when I say whole chicken, like a full chicken wing or a full thigh or a full breast, full leg. I like their full chicken more than I do their, like, wingettes, right? Mm-hmm. But this time, I had the opportunity to order both since we ate as a family.
Yeah.
And I got hot wings, and then I got, like, a count of chicken, right? Mm-hmm. And this time, the wingettes were actually better than the chicken. So I don't know if it was because they were busy that night and they didn't, like, have the time to really, you know, do what they normally do. Because I know that can take into account because I'm a cooker, right? Mm-hmm. And if you cooking all day, you can get tired of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine, like, what the cooks experience inside of, you know, restaurants, especially that are like busy. Yeah. So I don't want to bash them and say their food is nasty, but it's not a place that I woke up and was like, oh man, that chicken was good. You know? Yeah. So yeah. I actually prefer my own cooking, but sometimes I just don't feel like cooking.
Cocktails at all? Any drinks? I know they got some good selection there. Good whiskey and bourbon selection.
Yes, I did not drink any whiskey or bourbon. I did have one drink. It was like a lime drink. It was was it a vodka? No, I tried a mezcal and I forgot that I didn't like mezcal. Mm-hmm. So then I asked, she said that she could switch it out for something else, and I got something with vodka in it. So I had one drink. That's it. I didn't drink a lot.
Yeah. I was just curious if you tried any. I mean, I know they got a pretty good selection. I've been there a couple of times myself, so I was just curious if you tried anything, or I hadn't been there in a little while, so I don't know if they maybe had like something new or something. So
yeah, now I went to lunch at Cork and Bull yesterday, which was, you know, that's kind of my spot. I love that, and I had the Rockefeller oysters.
Oh yeah, they're good there. For sure.
Yeah, super good. Yeah. So it was a nice time, and I had like a salad on the side, but yeah,
that's good.
Love Cork and Bull.
Yeah, I got a gift card there too. Matter of fact. I got $100 There's $100 and something gift card there
Yeah.
too. So that's definitely gonna be on my radar to go check out here very soon.
I need new friends. I need friends like you. Shoot, I give gift cards. It got $10, maybe $20.
Yeah.
Don't nobody give me no $100 gift card.
Yeah.
I need new friends.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely is dope. You know, I mean, I appreciate it. You know, so, but yeah, what else happened this past week? I know for me, I had like I said, we had a little bit of a short week because of the holiday on Monday. Kids were out of school.
Yeah, and then Tuesday we went into our sales meeting.
Yeah, we had our sales meeting on Tuesday, so that was pretty cool to see a lot of the folks in the office that we typically don't see. It's top of the year, so everyone wanted to show up.
So you know what's funny? I actually showed up to the meeting late that morning, and I'm trying to figure out why I was late. It has something to do with my middle child. And so I walked in, I would say maybe 5 minutes late, if that. I could tell that I was like not too late, but our manager was up there talking, and I saw him kind of not talk, like he was waiting. And then when I walked in the room, everybody was clapping. What was that for?
Oh yeah, he stopped because he said he never started, so he was getting ready to start talking. And he was like, he said, hold on. He was actually getting ready to say something. And then he was, oh, there goes Sophia. And she was like, Sophia's fashionably late. And then so then that's when you walk through the door. And like you said, everybody started, just kind of being funny. So yeah, the meeting hadn't quite started yet, but he was literally about to say something. And then he saw you, so he kind of, paused, let you walk in the room. So
That is funny.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob got a sense of humor. So,
yeah, that was funny. I was shocked. I was like, okay, all this love. Okay, I took it in. But it was actually pretty funny. But outside of that, we did have a short week. I'm trying to figure out what. Yeah. So
I had last night. I had a pretty cool dinner with an agent I've been building with over the last 6 months. We closed a good amount of deals.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a dinner with her and then also the builder as well. So she pretty much focuses on new construction. She's kind of labored on championing herself as being like a new construction expert. So it was pretty cool. We had dinner last night. Was able to kind of talk about different things that we're trying to do. We got a buyer who we just got under contract for $890,000, which was really, really good. It's a new construction home that they're that not this builder that we were with, but they're buying in a neighborhood that a builder is building houses in Chesapeake.
Okay.
And so so that was pretty cool for us to do that. The house will be done, I think it's in July, top of July. So they were really excited. The buyer was really excited. He's a vet. He actually is pretty dope. I was having a conversation with him. He is a military vet. He has disability as well. And he also now teaches at some high school in Newport News. I can't remember exactly the high school, but he was a real cool guy. I could tell he was just like, man, he wanted to give back, to some of the students there in the area because he grew up here. So it was pretty cool. He had,
Man, speaking of high schools, I had a client that I took an application for, and like when you're taking an application, there's a lot of like in between time, you know, because we're entering the information. And if you're a client, you know how you are. You're talking, and then you give us the information, but then you get off track, and then you give us the information, we get off track, right? Yeah. So she brought up that at some high school in Norfolk, there was a stabbing.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my gosh.
There's only 3-4 high schools in Norfolk. There's what? Granby, Maury, Lake Taylor?
I think it's Maury.
Maury High School? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I saw on the news that at Tallwood there was a mother, a kid who was receiving death threats.
Oh, for real?
Basically saying, like, sending pictures of, like, guns and dead people saying, I'm going to come to the school and get you type of thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had to involve the school. And then, the mom also reported it to the news.
Oh, wow.
What is it called here? WTVZ?
You got a couple of them. It's WTKR. It's WVEC.
One of those.
Wavy TV 10. I mean, it's three. It's Channel 3, Channel 10, and
okay.
Channel 13.
It was one of them.
What are them W's?
What are the W's? I was like, oh man, but it stood out because you went to Tallwood.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's crazy, man. I hate to hear stuff like that, especially hits home for like I said, the school I went to.
It is
and
scary.
just in general. Yeah, it is scary.
It's scary because,
scary.
Those types of threats can be real.
Yeah. I mean, you see it all the time. I mean,
all
you
the
see
time.
it, mass shootings, you know what I'm saying? You see, it's it typically starts with something like that, like you said, some type of something. Maybe sometimes people don't really take it serious, and then it gets to the point where it actually, happens, and then everyone looks back like, man, like where were the signs at, or what, how could we have prevented this? So
I teach my kids, like, look, don't be a bully. You don't want to be a target. Look. Be nice to everybody, no matter how different they are to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it could be, you can get hung up with not the wrong crowd, but with the wrong person who doesn't care about talking about other people. It's not that they're a bad person, but they can just, speak their mind a little too much.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get caught up in that, so
you definitely
be yourself.
Don't want to do that.
Always.
Yeah, definitely be yourself. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. But yeah, so that hate to hear that, man. We actually we got the basketball event on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, at Tallwood. So man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'll try to like I said, I tried to give back, to the community. So we have, the basketball tournament that we had earlier last year during the summertime. One of the things, and one of the purposes behind the tournament was to give money back to the community, and so we're actually giving some money to the Tallwood basketball program.
Yes.
So the guy who's the head coach there, he's a buddy of mine. I've known him for 20 years now, probably longer than that. So man, I'm sad to hear something like that's going down. Especially locally here, and especially at the high school that I went to. So,
yeah. And then the little kid who shot his teacher in Newport News.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a couple years ago, right?
She was just, I think, convicted.
Oh, she was?
I believe she was.
Hold on,
the mother, not the child.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, the mother. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I remember hearing something about that. Yeah.
Negligence or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little close to home.
Yeah, it's tough. Definitely tough. I also this week, which was dope, one of my projects, so I got a house in Suffolk that I built. It's crazy, long story, but we put it on the market like maybe a month and a half ago, because it was almost done. And, we weren't really getting that much attention, especially this time of the year. It's kind of, a little slower. Rates were a little higher. So, we really wasn't getting that much activity on it.
And it's a special type of person that's going to
buy
that home, because it's out in the
it's out there in the sticks, man. It is out there.
I didn't want to say it. I was like, it's out there, look. Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there in the sticks. It's like 5 minutes from Franklin. If anybody's familiar with this area, like where we, where we are or whatever, it's deep Suffolk.
Yeah.
But so it was cool because I bought it the beginning of last year, and the person who connected me to the property, shout out to my boy Kaleo, he connected me to the property, so I tore it down and built a brand new house on it. And the agent that brought the buyer to the house is actually an agent that's on his team. Nice. So it's pretty dope to kind of bring that whole thing full circle. Him connecting me being the investor, building a new home on it, and they absolutely love it. Like, they raved about it. The husband, he's military, he's a vet, so they're excited. They have I think one or two children, they said. So they're really excited to grow their family there, is what they said. So I'm excited for them.
Nice.
And it's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, obviously we invest in real estate, obviously to make a profit, make money. But, you really actually are, providing shelter and housing for people and allowing them to grow their family and create dreams and memories in places like, beforehand, that house, like I said, was just, you couldn't live in it. You know what I mean? So to be able to be a part of something like that, for the greater good, as they always say, I think that's really, really dope. You know what I mean? So that's why I love real estate, man. Real estate is so powerful. It's powerful even for beyond what you probably are even thinking it is, So that's fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Just got the building permit as well on another project, the one in Virginia Beach. So I'm excited to get that one off the ground as well. Hopefully we'll get that one going in sometime probably here in the next week or two. So that's exciting as well. So yeah, man, we got.
What about the house in Chesapeake?
Yeah, Chesapeake, man. I got a lot overall for a 2152 Millville that it's crazy, man, because I bought that lot last summer, And I thought it was going to be something that I was going to be able to be off the ground by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But what happened is really the surveying company that I'm having issues with, right? So I bought the lot, and the person I bought the lot for was an investor. He's a builder as well, just like how I do, right?
Yeah.
And he already had a survey on file because he was going to build a house on it. So he was working on the site plan, right? And the survey, for folks that don't know, is just really showing you where your property line begins and ends, right?
Yep.
And it's showing you what's on your property. So, if there's a fence, your neighboring fence, or if there's like something under the ground, water-wise, all that, it lets you know exactly where everything is dealing associated with your property, right? Mm-hmm. So there was already one on file, and typically it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get a survey back once you order a new one. So I'm like, hey, I already got this survey with this particular company, not going to mention their name, but I was working. Now the next phase is actually working on a site plan to turn into the city to be able to get a permit, right?
Yep.
So I typically use 2 different survey companies, but with this survey already in line, they're already being completed, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have that company do the site plan, right? Because they already have the survey, they're familiar, they already did field work with it, boom. This survey company's been terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. Like, really pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie to you. So what happens is they finished the site plan for us. That took like 3 months, which it shouldn't take that long. It should take probably like a month at the best. Took 3 months. I turned it into the city. The city was like, okay, everything looks good. We just got to have the calculations on how you're going to tap into the main water system. The main water system is like 150 feet from the front of the property. So it's just a certain way that you have to enter, and it's a certain depth. So they have to have those calculations on the site plan, right, to issue the permit. Easy. Probably take an engineer 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah. I wouldn't even say a day. 30 minutes to an hour just to do the calculations. They already had a person go out in the field and actually do the field work. So it's just a matter of actually putting the information on paper.
Yep.
So anyway, we've been waiting since September.
For that?
For that. Literally just for that part.
What is the excuse? I've
went up to the office 4 different times, and the issue is they have nobody running their production there. They literally have a receptionist up front. They have the people who complete the survey, the people who complete the field work, and the engineers, right? There's nobody managing them, nobody keeping them accountable for any of the things they have going on, right? So that's really the issue. So I'm going up there having conversations like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Everybody's placing the blame on the other person that's involved in getting the work done. So the last couple of times I've been up there, they were just like waiting on the engineer. Engineer had COVID. Engineer.
You can work while you have COVID. You just can't be around people.
I've said all of these things. You know what I mean? Then they were like, oh, another engineer picked it up and they had to put it in their queue. So now I'm in line because they were already doing other stuff. They're picking up for that person because now he's here and he's out of town. It was so much bull crap, man. But so it was at a point, and I was having conversations with my builder because, we were like, hey, should we just drop using them and go with somebody else? But yeah. It's like, I already paid for it, first off, right? And then second off, it's like, if I do a brand new site plan with somebody else and do all of that, I'm going to pay double the amount, right? And then I'm also going to have to wait however long their wait time is, right? So I felt like I was at I'm a sports guy, right?
I was at the
10-yard line, getting ready to score a touchdown. I didn't want to have to start all the way back, at the 20-yard line and start all over again. You know what I mean?
But
so it's kind of like,
but you've been at the 10-yard line for months.
I have. So it's like, what do you do though? Like, do you start over and pay double, or do you just consistently wait it out? Because as soon as you get what you need to get from them, you ain't got to deal with them no more. You know what I mean? So finally, this past Friday, last Friday, I got the information that I needed, turned it into the city. So now I'm just waiting for the city to sign off on it. That should be any day now. I know we had a holiday on Monday, so I know they didn't get back till Tuesday. They typically get back in about 5 to 7 days, man. So I'm hoping sometime next week we get the building permit for that one, and then get that one off the ground. So I'm excited about that. I actually I had a conversation yesterday when I was picking my kids up from school. A guy that I helped build a house for in Portsmouth, real good dude, man, real good dude. Him and his girl just had a baby about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So they have a 2-year-old, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's 2 now. But I built the house in Portsmouth, and they're living in that house right now. But since their family's growing, they're looking at, getting a bigger home. And so, he was reaching out, connecting with me, wanting to see when him and his wife or him and his fiance can come by and actually kind of go over what that process looks like, because they're wanting to probably get a house built because they really like the new construction process and like a new home. And so I was telling him about the projects that I got going on. So he's actually interested in potentially that Chesapeake one. So
how many square feet is the Chesapeake home?
It's not going to be that big. It's going to be like 2,200 square feet.
Well, how many square feet is the one that he's moving from?
Yeah, that one it was 1,700 square feet.
Okay,
yeah,
so a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger. That's what I told him. I was like, man, I don't know if this one's going to really fit as far as what you're probably looking for. Because most people, when they're coming from like, their first time, their first home, 700 to 800 square feet, they're probably looking for like 25 plus, maybe 3,000 square feet. So, and he said that, he was like, yeah, but he's like, but if it lays out the right way and it feels, because sometimes, like I know even for me, like being on the building side and the investing side, right, you can build a home. There's been homes like I built that's like 2,100 square feet that actually feel bigger than a 2,500 square feet. Like if you compare both of them, depending on how the layout is and all that, like you would think it's like 2,500 square feet when it's actually not. So it really just depends on how everything is laid out, you know what I mean? And being able to have the space to accommodate that. So now, and the house that I'm building in Chesapeake, that's the area that he wants to be in. So ultimately,
What area is it?
It's Grassfield. Oh, okay. Grassfield, yeah. So it's a desirable area out here. I used to actually live over there before I moved where I live now. So 2024 is looking up, man. We got a whole bunch of projects going on. I've had a lot of people hit me up with different opportunities recently. So I'm just, vetting them, seeing, what else, what other projects I'm going to take on this year, man. But I'm excited to see how these finally get to the finish line, because I bought them last year. Thought I was going to maybe get started, towards the end of this year, maybe even finish them up last year. But it seems like they all are starting to come together now, top of the year. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it's for my kids, though, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's what we do it for, right?
Absolutely. Most definitely.
So, what have you been seeing on the mortgage side? I mean, I know that I've seen a couple things, but I know you mentioned some before we started the podcast.
Yeah, I seen. We had a good run, man, as far as rates each week getting better. I would say it's been probably 7 to 8 weeks straight. We had rates get better and better. This week we did have a downward turn, I guess you could say, in rates.
Minor setback.
Just minor. Yeah, nothing. I
didn't even really see a difference in the VA rate. To be honest with you.
It was. Yeah, it went down about 1/4 point. Yeah, or up, I should say 1/4 point. I always say the reverse of it, but yeah, rates went up 1/4 point for VA, and pretty much across the board, every loan type. And the reason being was the retail spending data came out. Halfway through this week, and they were predicting it to go up from last month about 0.3%. It actually went up 0.6%, and so that kind of it gave the investors, when it comes to the mortgage-backed securities, kind of pause, like, oh man, like, is the Fed? Because earlier, the Fed towards the end of last year said they're going to potentially raise rates or cut rates
4 times,
3 to 4 times this upcoming year. So they were like, oh man, with the numbers, still not necessarily being where it needs to be, are they gonna, reverse that saying and potentially raise them again, or just kind of keep staying packed and not cut rates? Like, so it was a lot of that data didn't support what the Fed said earlier, so there was kind of some adverse reaction there in the market. So so that's why we saw that impact when it comes to interest rates. So that's what I saw this week. Hopefully next week, we get some better information. We can, continue that downward, drop in rates.
Yeah.
So, actually, this week I had a couple of people, like I said, even with where we are rates wise now, that I'm helping refinance. For various reasons, combining debt, and I think we've talked about it before, like, even though rates are, higher, like I got a VA guy, military guy, who his rate right now is at like 3% mortgage, right? But for us to do the VA refinance, it would be like 5.75 right now because his mortgage is already with us. But he's trying to pay off a lot of debt. He owns a boat that he's trying to pay off, he said. He owns like some other just debt, frivolous credit card debt that he's just trying to consolidate, and he's trying to leverage his mortgage by doing that. And so we were looking at the numbers, he's going to save like $800 a month by doing that. You know what I mean? And so that's something that, is out there to potentially have. And I told him, like, hey, we can do that now, right? Get that off your back, start the year off, save you some money. And then if rates drop even again, at the end of this year, after 6 months from now, we can do, a VA early, so you don't miss that surge in that as well. Because that's what he was trying to like decide, like, hey, should I just wait till rates get lower? 'Cause that's where everybody's saying it's going to happen. Or should I just go ahead and do it now? And I was like, yeah, man, you can really get the benefit of both by doing something now. At least get that debt cleared up, because he said he's kind of struggling, right now with with where his debt is in his situation. So we can at least kind of alleviate that now, and then put you even a better situation, 6 months to a year from now. So,
yeah. So I had someone reach out to me, actually just yesterday, asking to refinance, but they're not a veteran.
Yeah.
So that's another advantage that you have as a veteran, is because when you go to refinance, you only are required to have 10% of equity in your property, and with some companies, 100. You could really refinance up to 100%.
Yep.
But it allows you to utilize your home even more, right? Mm-hmm. But this particular client that I was helping, they don't have the minimum requirement of equity in their home.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, although they have the funds in their house, they couldn't refinance. So I kind of felt bad for them. But me, I'm in the business of helping people, right?
Sure.
So I was able to kind of look for different options, present them to them, and then they can go elsewhere and try to figure out what they can do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because they only had 20% of equity, and that's the minimum requirement before you can start.
Yeah, before you can even start trying to bar against that equity.
Yeah. So hopefully, their credit is strong and they're able to qualify for the program that I did mention to them. Yeah.
Also, I had a situation too, man. Something I wanted to touch on this week in regards to credit. Right. That's something that, anytime somebody fills an application out with us, we do see their credit, just over the years with the amount of times we do see credit, we're able to, and just having conversations. We have, referral partners that are credit specialists, that we understand, what moves the needle when it comes to your credit and how to positively impact it and what hurts and all that. Right.
Yes.
So I've had this conversation a couple of times this week. And I just wanted to kind of bring it out and have a conversation with you guys on it, right? So, credit, right? And the lady, it was funny. The lady even told me, like, "Hey, I've never talked to anybody about credit." She was like, "My parents never had this conversation with me," and I felt bad, man. I'm like, because that's the part I really feel like should be taught in school. You know what I mean? It's credit.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But I know why they're not going to do that, because if you're helping people when it comes to your credit, then it's going to be less late payments.
It's going to close the gap between the rich and the poor.
Yep, exactly.
Because people are going to be put on.
Exactly.
And they're going to know what to do in order to not put themselves in situations that they don't have
But
to.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. We in the day of the internet, right, of YouTube. You
Correct.
can easily Google or YouTube, hey, how do I improve my credit?
But you got to know to Google it, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Because you got to think about the
people,
society and the norms of what they're used to, right? So
Correct.
if that's just like somebody that is in a low income area, right? Let's say in that box that they live in, their social norm is to get government assistance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's their goal. That's their ceiling. You've seen the experiment when you put.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
So they're not even thinking outside that box.
Yeah.
But if someone was to get in the box and say, "Hey, this is possible. Did you know this?"
Yeah.
Then it opens up that door to say, "Oh," and more people start stepping out into that outside of that box to figure out all these different nuances.
Yeah, I'm not.
But you
I
need
agree.
people to talk about it.
I agree. I'm not even talking about that. You're 100% spot on with what you just said. I'm not even talking about really that demographic of people.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a person who understands, they know that you have to have a good credit score. People who know, you may not necessarily know how to manipulate and how to do things credit wise, but you know that, hey, if I want to buy a house, I have to have a good credit score.
Correct.
Or you've had your credit rammed to get your cell phone. All these other things that you
Absolutely.
have, you understand. You have a car, you know that credit is important, right?
Yeah.
Now, you don't know the different nuances of it, but you know it. Those are the people I'm talking about. Maybe you never had an actual conversation about credit.
But you need credit to buy the car. You need credit to get the house.
So
I get what you're saying.
So just YouTube it. You can YouTube it. But anyway,
you sure can.
Going back to the conversation I had with this young lady, actually a couple times this week with different people, is that she was under the impression, because she's been late She has a credit card and a loan, right? I think it's like a personal loan. She's been late on both of those, like habitually over the last like 12 months, like literally like every month. I mean, because it shows us, you know how we look on the credit report, Sophia. It shows us like each month. Yeah, like each month, like when they were late, how long they were late, 30, 60, 90 days, whatever. This woman has been late every month, right? So
she's more consistent at being late than paying on time is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. And for me, it's like, and when I had a conversation with her, she knew that. Like, it wasn't like,
new news.
It wasn't new news. Like, oh man, I've been thinking it's been coming out my account, or I thought I had it on auto pay and it wasn't, whatever. Like, she knew that she was being late, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. So again, I get it, but some people like, like if A plus B equals C, though.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, with her, she was like, I got the money to go ahead and bring both of those accounts current. She was like, I can bring the loan account current. She was like, get paid tomorrow, which is today. And she was like, I can also pay off the credit card. The credit card was only like $2,500 balance. It wasn't nothing crazy, right? Yeah. And so,
and I know some people are gonna be like, oh, that's a lot, but trust me.
Yeah, in the grand scheme, that's
minimal.
Yeah, from what we normally see. So anyway, she was like, if I do that, will I now be able to buy a house? And so I was like, at the time, her score was like 540, 550 something, right, when I pulled it. And so I was telling her, like, look, like, that's going to help you. It's going to give you a jump in score because your accounts are now where they're supposed to be, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't, just by bringing an account current or paying a credit card off, that doesn't eliminate your payment history and the history of what you've done with those accounts, right? And I seen a light bulb go off her head. She was like, oh, you're right. So I was like, so you're going to have on-time payments with this account really for the next year. You know what I mean? Minimal. You know what I mean?
And so depending on, did she have collections?
She didn't have, it was nothing crazy. She had like a medical collection, nothing crazy. It was really just, and she didn't have very many accounts, just those accounts, that she was late on.
So she was doing good.
Yeah, so she was.
I mean, not good.
Don't say that. Don't say that. See, that's the thing. People think they doing good. That ain't
Listen,
that ain't good.
That's not good. It's actually really, really bad.
She's not
as
far off as you know what I'm saying.
Well, I'm gonna tell you my story next, and then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, she's
doing in comparison, right? Yeah. I got you. But so I had the conversation with her, and it was just like, it's something I wanted to talk about today. Was like, when it comes to your credit and your payment history and those things, like, just because you pay something off today, but you've had a year history of being late, like that history don't go away. That follows you. Yep. You know what I mean? So her score may go from 550 maybe to 575, 580, but she's still not going to be able to qualify for a loan because she has had negative history. So we need to have her most recent 12 months be clean. Yeah. Not have any lates at all. You know what I mean? Because then that, from us, will show that, hey, she potentially will pay the loan back in a timely manner. But if you now just catch the account up today and you saying, hey, I want to buy a house, and you've shown your most recent history of 12 months is you've been late consistently, like, no, that's not going to work.
No, absolutely not.
So that's just something I wanted to share today because I've had that. It wasn't just her. I'm not just trying to, keep going at her, but it was a couple people I actually had conversations with different nuances about it, but it was very similar. Like, hey, if I just pay this account, does that now make everything better? And I'm like, nah,
no,
I mean, it does, it helps,
not.
But it doesn't. It's not like erasing what you did beforehand.
Yeah. So I had a few similar conversations this week because unfortunately we get more applications that with bad credit that we can't approve than we get that we can approve, right? Yeah. And so two actually jump out, and they were very similar. So in my situation, right, they had a couple accounts that were in good standing that they paid off. So when you take a look at the credit report, you're like, oh, you've paid off these items, right? Yeah. Not too many current late payments. Yeah. But boy, oh boy, when I scrolled past all those accounts that had been paid and I looked at the collections, $26,000 in collection. Oh, wow. I mean, no. 26 accounts in collection.
Oh, wow. You actually counted them joints?
I did.
I was about to say you had an exact number. Like, you didn't even say, like,
26.
You said 26. Okay.
26 collection accounts.
Dang.
And you know what the question, the rebuttal was?
I hate to say it, like with the Kevin Hart. Damn.
Yeah,
like, damn.
right.
Like, yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
How soon do you think I could buy?
Yeah.
I said, how soon do you think you could pay all this back?
Right.
You know, sometimes when you have clients that ask you those kind of questions, it's like the audacity.
Hey, was it a sister or a brother too?
Yep.
It be us, man. It be us, man. I ain't gonna lie. Look, I'm gonna say this, yo. Look, I love my people, man. But look, these conversations that I'm talking about, most of the time, they the people they my peoples. You know what I mean? It's you know, and I understand the education gap and all of that is you know we're behind. You know what I'm saying? But still, it's just like like.
I had a client one time, you know, we were going through that approval process, and I asked them, it was almost like it could never click what I was saying. Yeah. So then I had to use my color and say, if you allowed somebody to
break it down,
borrow money, and they didn't pay you back, would you allow them to pay you? Would you allow them to borrow money again? And they were like, no. I said, okay, well, that's how the lender looks at it. And they were like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's some people who look at certain situations and they say, well, I would never not pay where I gotta live. As if that's like top tier.
Yeah, which, I mean, it is.
It is.
Yeah, but still, that's not.
But if you're not paying everything else. Yeah. From the eye of the lender, right? Yeah. The reason why they don't allow you to gain this new collateral, because they know that. They know that most likely the first thing that you're going to pay is your housing.
Correct.
Secondly, your auto loans, because you need to be able to get to work, right?
Correct.
But the reason behind it is because if you draw up and get all these different judgments, collections, and all these things, they come after the collateral, which is the house, the biggest thing that you could possibly own.
Yeah.
So the lender's not going to take the risk of not being able to obtain their home back if you decide to keep being delinquent.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's a fact. It's funny having that type of conversation, having to like break it down, like, you know, in a different way, and then like the light bulb comes on. 'Cause I've done that too before. Like, I remember I was having a conversation with a guy. It's crazy. Like,
you're like talking in circles.
Yeah. So I was talking to this young dude, man, and he's sharp guy, man. That's why it's like, man, honestly, Sophia, we need to I think we need to look into we do this podcast obviously to put it out there for people to have conversations that we're having. Mm-hmm. But I think, man, we need to teach a class or something, really no, seriously, maybe put a webinar or something, you know, and have people sign up for it. You know, because it's crazy. I was having a conversation with a young brother, man. He's a vet early. He's 25 years old. He's a vet. He works. He's an engineer, making really good money, getting disability from the military. He's set, right?
Right.
But he's scary though, which I understand. He's young, right? And so he has this house that he really, really loves. And we were having conversations about, you know, he's trying to put an offer on the home, right? And we were talking about closing costs, right? So kind of shifting the dynamic conversation a little bit, not just about credit, but about closing costs. Mm-hmm. So my phone buzzing this morning. Good gracious. And he's like, okay, he has money. He had let's say $10,000 saved up,
which is good for a 25-year-old.
It's really good. Yeah. It's really good. So, but he's it's a property that he really likes. There's already an offer on it, and he was asking me and the agent what should he ask for closing costs, right? And it was funny because we were explaining it to him. The agent was talking to him. We were on three-way. The agent was talking to him, explaining it to him. Then I see that he wasn't really understanding, right? So I was just kind of waiting. So then I tried to explain it to him in my way, which I pretty much said the same stuff, just a little bit different. And I was like, look, you know, right now you're in a situation, you really love this home. You do not want this home. And he had been looking for houses for the last 3 or 4 months. So it was this is the one. He's like, this is the one. This is when he took his parents by it, everything. So I was like, bro, I was like, if you have the money, if you want the house, I would just not ask for closing costs. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, but I heard, you know, everybody's, you know, you hear through the, you know, this, you should ask for.
Hear through the grapevine.
Hey, right now you can buy a house and get closing costs or whatever. And I'm like, hey, you know, sometimes situations is different, as far as, you know, whatever, right?
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, he was like, but why? He just didn't understand, right? And so I was like, look, do you like sneakers, man? He was like, yeah, I like sneakers. I like sneakers too, right? So just think about a limited Jordan that comes out, right? And I was like, so there's not very many of them, right? So if a limited Jordan comes out and somebody has a limited Jordan and they go on the secondary market and try to sell it, they could sell it for a lot more because there's not very many of them, right? And so he was like, yeah. He was like, I actually do that, man. I actually sell sneakers. I was like, so just think about it like that. Like right now, you're in a situation where this seller has a house. There's already somebody who's offered him money for that house. So what are you gonna do that's gonna have your offer stick out from him?
Yeah.
You know, and then he was like, oh, okay, I got you. He was like, yeah, let's not ask for no closing costs. I was like, yeah, and we ended up getting the house under contract.
That
the listing agent
funny.
called me. We had a conversation or whatever.
Did you tell her about the sneakers?
Nah, it was a dude. It was the listing agent's a young boy too. Matter of fact,
okay.
I'll tell you later who it is because you actually know the listing agent
okay.
as well. Yeah, he's a young boy. But yeah. So it was just one like you. Sometimes you got to dumb it down. I was like, look, he just wasn't. It wasn't registered until I was like, look, you understand sneakers? I kind of felt that he was like, young. I know the sneakers is a thing now. I was like, yo, this is why it is the way it is, So, but yeah.
Absolutely, that is hilarious. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you have to bring it down to their level, and
absolutely.
That's one thing that I appreciate about, when us being in the business, because even sometimes when I walk into these rooms, when they're talking about different nuances regarding mortgage, it's like, okay, how can you dumb that down to even my level? And I feel like I'm pretty high up there, and it's not because I can't comprehend it. It's just that it's an attention thing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't want to sit here and listen to you long enough to hear what you got to say because it's boring.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we in the. That's
Unfortunately,
that's where we are in life.
Where we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's something has to click early. Like it's even like for me, like I'll watch a show. Matter of fact, like if I watch a Netflix show, right? If it doesn't really like grab me or have me like. In the first like 10 minutes, like I'm probably not gonna continue to watch it.
Yes.
Shout out, matter of fact, it's a show that came on. I've been hooked, and my buddy told me about it, and I actually went through it this past week too. Fool Me Once. You see that joint on Netflix? Mm-mm. Yeah, you know how every time.
What is it about?
It's about a woman who a woman and her husband just passed away, right? Mm-hmm. And so she's just coping with that. They have a young daughter. And she actually has
a woman and the husband pass away, and she's
no. So I'm sorry. The woman and husband, right? So woman and the husband.
Yeah.
The husband passed away. Okay. So the woman is still alive.
Okay.
And they have a young child. So there's just left now is the woman and the young daughter.
Yes.
Right. And so the woman's trying to cope with just obviously now being single, being by herself. And she used to be in the military. Like, she used to be, like, heavy artillery, shooting guns, like, fighter plane, like, in military, right? Mm-hmm. And so she's having, like, PTSD dealing with that as well. And so
I did see this.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I did see it.
You watched the whole thing?
I did. It was boring to me.
Oh, man. I was about to say, that joint actually was pretty good. Like, it was good.
Mean...
Like, because what she ended up seeing her husband, like, she saw him in a nanny cam.
Yeah. Oh, AI. Yeah.
Well, don't give it out for everybody, but yeah. I
mean, just say AI.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that tells you a little bit. Yeah.
If you know the story, because I said AI.
That's true. But yeah, I watched that this week. My buddy Sherm, he told me about the show. He was like, yo, because we were in the gym in the morning. We go pretty early, so he was like, yo, I'm struggling this morning. He's like, yo, the wife had me watching this show last night, and I was like, what was it called? And so he was telling me about it. So I turned it on the next day, and I actually watched it. It got me hooked too, and I watched the whole thing in a couple of days.
I liked the story.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I really liked the story. I didn't like the acting.
Because
I feel like in some of the fighting scenes, it was very like,
Trying to think the fighting scenes?
Yeah.
What fighting scene?
The main character. Remember when she was in the house and stuff? Yeah, I didn't like that.
She was like on her John Wick stuff.
She was trying to be, but it definitely wasn't. No, absolutely
not. True. Yeah, that's true.
That's the part that I didn't like. And I was like...
I was more intrigued with the storyline. I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. Because she was like whooping people's ass. You like, yo, that shit ain't real. Like, she fighting big dudes.
Even
like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, she's not even built like that. I mean, some people, but you never know. Some people got they, you know what I'm saying?
It's this one show called, what is it called? Lioness. Mm-hmm. And it's the woman who was the main character in Colombiana. What's her name?
Yeah, Zoe
Yes.
Salanda. Something
She is really good at militant fighting combat type of shows.
Yeah.
So she plays in this movie called Lioness, or this series. It's just like a short series like that one.
Yeah.
And that show, fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That one's
I'll check it
fire.
out.
It's called Lioness. I think it's on.
I think you mentioned it last week when we were talking on the podcast.
I think it's on Apple TV. I can't remember. It's on one of the platforms. If you Google Lioness and you find out what platforms it shows on, you can watch it. But she is a really good actor when it comes to combat. Actress. Sorry. Yeah, when it comes to combat type of things. She's very militant in her character.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Because she did her thing in Colombiana.
Yeah, she did. That was dope. Yeah, I remember that.
Especially the scene when she swam through the pool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. But back to the basics. We gotta reel ourselves back in.
Sometimes we go, we were going left, But yeah, that I just wanted to bring up that situation, and I felt like that's something that when it comes to like credit or just like I said, having that example as far as closing costs, dumbing things down a lot of times does help. But I really think we need to look at like a webinar or something like that, Sophia. I'm gonna have to really look into that, yo.
Listen, so I know we always talk about, you have your building thing going on. We talk about mortgage. We talk about credit. But let's talk about the space of being a landlord, right? Because you're a landlord. I'm a landlord. Mm-hmm. And I was getting dressed this morning, actually. And I don't know if or why I had the news on. Because let me tell you guys, I don't watch the news. You do, but I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't play it in the background usually. I don't do any of that. But this morning, I had pressed play because Law and Order, the new 2024 season came out, SVU. And so I was playing Organized Crimes in the background as I was getting my son ready. And the way my bedroom is, it's like, it's basically like a suite, right? So it's like a big L. And then the bathroom, you could see from the mirror across the room, which then reflects to the TV that's on the other side of the mirror, right? So I could literally be in the bathroom brushing my teeth, look out the doors past the closet and stuff, and I could see the TV on the mirror. It's backwards, but you can see it, right? And if you're playing it loud enough, you can hear it. Yeah. So that show was on while I was getting my son ready. So eventually, I guess it went off. I didn't really get a chance to watch it in full, but it was just on, right? Yeah. White noise in the background, right? So then the news came on. So this must have been the news from last night. Yeah. That was playing for me this morning. Yeah. And there's a landlord here in Hampton Roads, specifically Hampton, and I'm gonna read this to you because I had to look it up. I thought the news was lying to me, y'all. So there is a landlord in Hampton. He's a 58-year-old man named David Merriman. He owns more than 60 rental properties on the peninsula, and he has been charged with 10 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of interfering with housing rights, 2 counts of interstate communications with threats to injure, 6 counts of theft with government money, 4 counts of making false statements to HUD, 4 counts of aggravated identity theft, and that was just announced on Thursday, which is yesterday.
Oh, wow.
This man was charged with using threats, racist language, and violence against multiple black tenants within his home.
Dang. That's a lot. That don't sound good at all.
None.
Yeah.
None at all.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking to myself, like, I mean, is he managing these properties too? Because
it sounds like he's
60
he's at least,
properties. I mean, at that
sound like
point,
he's involved. I guess he's involved
beyond
to a certain
10.
degree. Mm-hmm.
I feel like you should have a property manager.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
It depends. I mean, obviously, you can do whatever
really,
you
I mean,
feel.
honestly, like, it depends, I guess, if he's doing anything else outside of that, right?
That's
you know what I mean?
true. But you would assume if you own 60 properties, you're doing something.
Nah, I think, I mean, for me, if I own 60 properties, I wouldn't be working nowhere else. I'd be just, that's my, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would be paying all of my stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I guess
mean,
you're right
that's how I
about
would
that.
look at it, you know, because.
But I just feel like somebody who has the ambition to own that many properties doesn't have the ambition to just sit and do nothing else. I just feel like when you have that ceiling of like going that far, you're going to be doing other things. That's how I look at it.
I guess I'm looking at it like
but
he's
I understand the perspective of like being set.
Yeah, because when you, I mean, just think about it. Like, obviously, I think he probably was doing something beforehand, but once you're that deep in real estate, like, I can't really see you actually being able to do anything else.
Yeah, that's
you know what
true.
I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where like for me, instance, like I don't have that many properties, but if I got a good amount, right? And I manage mine myself, and me and the wife do. So it's like, you know, because I know people who are property managers, and they're no different than what you can do.
No,
like, all they do is answer the phone. They got to be available for you to call them, and if there's an issue, you got to have somebody be able to go out there. So
you have all that. Yeah.
So I mean, if you have somebody in all those areas, I mean, you know, and him having 60 properties, I'm pretty sure he knows a plumber, he knows an HVAC person, he knows people who can do different things when a house, you know, has issues with it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine him like working at the shipyard owning 60 properties, basically.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He may own these properties and maybe building houses too at the same time or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But that was some crazy news. I just thought that, you know, you guys should know because it shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, just imagine, you know, how many individuals or how many different people, like you can own 60 properties, but that doesn't mean that it's only 60 doors, right?
Yeah.
Because you can also own a quad that has 4 different tenants in that one property. All it said was that he owns 60 properties. It didn't say what kind of property. So that's hundreds of people that could be affected by what he's doing.
Correct. Yeah, that's wild.
And that's sad.
That is sad.
Very. Yeah. Very sad. Yeah. But anything you saw that came up in the news?
Nah, not the news. I haven't really looked at the news, I would say, this week very much, I would say. I've been locked into sports. You know, this the NFL playoffs is going on right now. My 49ers.
I saw something about the Cowboys.
They lost last week.
Okay.
Yeah, that was crazy. They got upset. It was the Cowboys actually had a really, really good season this year. So a lot of people, like they do every year, all the Cowboys fans think that, you know, they're going to go to the Super Bowl, and they haven't been to the Super Bowl since '95, I think it is. So it's been a long, long time. And so this year they had a lot of expectation and promise, and they ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs. So a lot of people were upset. But my Niners are doing good. We're in first place.
So if they go to the Super Bowl, you going?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be there.
It's in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be
there.
And
you know what? In February, the weather will be cool.
Yeah. So I was actually looking at it. It's funny. So me and my buddy Sherm, because he's a 49ers fan as well. Okay. So we were both talking about, you know, going, us and the wives. And because Usher is going to be performing this year, so that's going to be dope.
Oh, yeah, he is.
You know, and they also have a couple other people I've seen that are going to be performing as well.
That's one person I want to see perform before
Yeah.
I'm too old to go to concerts.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying, you know, I'm going to be old soon, but.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Or before he's too old to perform.
Yeah.
One or the other, because he is older than I.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully Niners got a game this Saturday, actually against the Packers, who beat the Cowboys. So the team that upset the Cowboys last week, they play them tomorrow on Saturday.
Well, hopefully y'all win.
Hopefully we win. If we win that game, we got one more game next week. If we win that game, then we're in the Super Bowl. So I already been looking at just like tickets. I was looking at hotels. Obviously, it's mad expensive.
Especially in Vegas. I mean, Vegas is already expensive. So then, you know, you put the Super Bowl in there, and now you're playing with fire.
Yeah, but it's funny because I was looking at some of the hotels where I went there for a big fight this past summer and stayed at Aria. I really that's my favorite hotel out there. And looking at if I wanted to stay at Aria this weekend, it was only $150, $200. It's very close to you know what, but the weekend of the Super Bowl, that joint is $1,600 a night. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just kind of what you were saying, even I mean, even with it being Vegas, it's still like right now it's still real cheap. Like it's actually real cheap.
Because it's cold in Vegas,
yeah.
it ain't much going on. But if you was to book, well, okay, for example, if you go during their hot seasons, that's just like in any big
like
city.
even like here, like something in the water, right? You know, we have something in the water here, like
hotel
same thing.
Prices is gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah. I seen it. It was like $1,600 for a night for hotel prices here. It's something in the water as well, but
if you go during a prime time, even if it's not an event, even if it's just you going to have fun, if there is good weather and that's their time that they see the most vacations, then prices are going to be higher.
Correct.
But who goes to Vegas in January?
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
It's cold there.
Yeah. But if the Niners go to the Super Bowl, I'm definitely going to go. But my buddy, he already booked his hotel, because out there, another thing that's crazy is the cancellation policy. Because of it right now, like most of the hotels out there, most like the nicer hotels, they don't have any type of refundable cancellation policy right now. Or some of them have 21 days out, but like we're already within that 21-day window right now. You know what I mean? So it's like there's only a handful of them, and he booked one at the Mirage. The Mirage has a 48-hour cancellation policy still.
Yeah.
So the Mirage is all right. I kind of looked at it like I may end up
backup.
Yeah, I may just end up doing it. Well, actually, I may just end up doing it just to have a place. You know what I mean? Just in case. But we'll see.
Nice. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you listening to the podcast. I think today we brought a bunch of news. Again, you can follow us at me at SKB_mortgage.
Yeah, and I'm at Bryan_. Bryan _Royster. BRYN_ROYSTR. Yeah.
You struggled to get that out this morning.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week.
See you next week.